I'm Harrison Graham. Welcome into Chicago Bears Now, where we publish daily Bears content for free. Couple of topics I want to hit on today. The latest buzz on Trey Smith. What is the Chiefs' impending free agent going to do this? Offseason. Obviously, his next thing he's going to do is try to win a Super Bowl, and then the Bears have fired another coach. We will talk about who that is toward the end of the video. Let's start with Trey Smith. Here is their more Chicago buzz. The Chiefs' free agent to be obviously prepping for the Super Bowl. Brad Biggs expects the Bears to be in on Smith. And NFL free agency, of course. ESPN, Jeremy Furr, has said that PFF has suggested that as well. It's not a surprise the Bears have money. The Ryan Poles connection. They have cap space. We'll talk about it all here in just a second. But want to remind you guys to subscribe to the channel for free. We cover the latest Bears news rumors, major storylines, everything else in between. We go live usually every Monday and Thursday this week on a Friday due to the NBA trade deadline. Big breaking news. We live as well. Hit the subscribe button. Turn on notifications. We got you covered here on Chicago Bears. Now, okay? Brad Biggs saying this via 670, the score. Quote, back in the fall, the expectation was that there was no shot that Trey Smith would get out of Kansas City, but the thinking there has shifted, basically saying there's no chance that Trey Smith would hit NFL free agency. But now people in NFL circles do think that there's at least a decent chance that he could hit the open market. I think it's pretty clear with all the reporting. Just the obvious needs that the Bears have the connections to Trey Smith. I think he's a clear plan. Like if he hits the open market, they're going to swing. And they're going to swing hard at Trey Smith. And that should be their plan. Now obviously, you have to have a plan. B, C contingencies. Do you shift to a different position on the offensive line if he doesn't become available? All those are scenarios that these teams are working through with their free agency profiles and all that stuff. If you watched the Giants' Hard Knocks last year, they go through all these scenarios. All these teams do it. But I do think I'll put it this way. I'd be shocked if he wasn't their plan, based on what we've heard and what's just logical. At this point in time, this has been a contract that I projected for Trey Smith in the last couple of weeks. 5 years, $110 million, $22 million per year, 70, guaranteed the highest paid guard in the NFL, makes 21 per year. The highest guarantees ever has been 60. And look, you might say Harrison. That's an overpay. He's not the best guard in the NFL. No, but he's probably a top 10 guard. And when a player of this caliber hits the market, you overpay that. That's just how it works. And you know, Ryan Poles has been meticulous, and he's tried to avoid overpaying. I think you got to pick your spots. I think this is a spot where you swing, and you swing big. And if you have a line for, you might be willing to extend that line a little bit, because it's just such a massive need. And he's so far and away the best player available at the interior offensive line in this free agency class. Assuming he does hit the open market, you just have to be willing to pay, and to pay big, because it's beating a dead horse. We'll continue to talk about it, but this has just got to be handled. You've got Darnell, right? He's a good player. Braxton Jones, you can live with for another year, but you got 3 starters to fill. Like even if the Jenkins does come back, he's going to miss time. Coleman, Shelton can be serviceable, sure, but you'd like to upgrade Matt Pryor. Nice story. He's a backup. Trey Smith, you plug him next to Darnell, right? You feel really, really good about that right side, and then you start plugging away elsewhere with more reasonable free agent contract deals or guys in the draft. It just feels like the Bears are ready to pay up. You feel the momentum. You feel like, okay, Ben Johnson comes in here going to have a vision. Ryan Poles knows Trey Smith. He wants to get paid because he's a sixth-round pick, and he's made no money in the NFL. I say no money. He's made a few $1,000,000, which, compared to you and me, is good money. But, he was a guy that should have been drafted on day 2. But due to a heart issue that popped up, it scared some teams off. Has not been an issue at all in the NFL. Now he hits the open market, potentially, unless the Chiefs resign him and he agrees to potentially get a massive, massive payday. If you want, Trey Smith, get involved in the comments section below. Type me right now. It's gonna cost, I don't care. You got the money. It's time to get a big-time player on this offensive line and to build this unit out. All right, coming up next, the Chicago Bears have hired another coach to this coaching staff as we're getting closer and closer to Ben Johnson having his staff completely filled.